Okay, as alluded in my previous video, this is the second video on Greg Norman and his endorsement of Donald Trump. So it's very interesting. It's got a few extra little bits in there, so I thought I'd do two videos on it, and let's have a look what he says.
In his 40 years living in the United States, Australian golf champion Greg Norman has seen 6 presidents and played golf with almost all of them. As a Donald Trump supporter, Norman believes a wave of silent voters will deliver his friend 4 more years in office.
So here we go, the silent voters again. As my two previous videos were saying with Wayne Allen Root, he was saying the same thing. There's a whole group of silent what they call a silent majority that are going to vote for Trump apparently, whereas the polls are just saying that Biden's 10 points in front.
Hello, how you doing?
It's been 4 years since Greg Norman's hunch proved right.
I knew he was going to win.
I will be president for all Americans.
His longtime friend Donald Trump stunned the world with an election victory in 2016, and he's backing him to defy the polls again.
He'd given a rudder to millions of Americans that never had a rudder before. He gave them a voice, he gave them a belief. Yeah, he's different, he's bombastic, but that's the way he is in real life.
And also, he tried to bring back steel manufacturing back in America by putting tariffs on the Chinese steel. Try to bring Apple jobs back in. I think some Apple products are now back made in America. I think the Apple Mac Pro was made in America at one point as well. So just he knows the business models, and he knows that businesses, they want to make as much money as possible. So you've got to manipulate them into doing the right thing, because they're not going to do the right thing on their own,
Actually, he's got a pretty good golf game.
The United States has been home for the golf legend for 4 decades. Between designing courses, he's played a hand in diplomacy too, famously giving Trump's number to Malcolm Turnbull and joining Scott Morrison for a state dinner at the White House. Fast forward to 2020, Norman finds himself reflecting on an America deeply divided.
Have you ever seen a time like this in America with so much division, really? And do you ever just think, boy, how did we get here?
I had thought about that a lot, and it is the strangest of times. It really is. It's the worst I've ever seen it. Is it social media, or is it the president? Is it the Democrats, or is it the Republicans? I think it's a combination of everything, to tell you the truth.
That's brilliant, because I always say to my friends, there's no substitute. You get a lot of young people and they sort of think they know everything, and I always say there's no substitute for age, for wisdom. You can't get wisdom at a young age, even though people think you can. It comes from life experiences,
And saddened by scenes like this.
I thought that was disgusting.
You can't do that. You can't bully people to do something.
Exactly,
you imagine if you and I sitting there and somebody came up and just in my face because I'm talking positive about Trump. Hey, I'm allowed my opinion.
COVID.
On the president's handling of the pandemic.
Well, you name me one individual on this planet, one individual that's experienced a pandemic like this. Nobody. It was 100 years ago, right?
If the polls are right this time.
Well, yeah, I'll speak from Australia's point of view. We had a bit of a surge, then we just slammed it right down and got right on top of it, and we've had a couple of surges again, and we sort of got it fairly under control. But if you want to look at the numbers, I'll put a link to the website over there, Worldometers, and you can check out all the coronavirus statistics and make up your own mind of who's doing well with the pandemic.
Time around, Joe Biden will be America's 46th president.
Look, I like Joe Biden personally. I really do.
But he's wary of those advising the man who'll be 78 by the time he takes office.
Do I think Joe Biden can shift to the left because of people and pressure? Absolutely, I think I do.
Come November 3rd, he'll be watching the election results from his home in Jupiter Island. But the Sunshine State may not be home for much longer. Australia's calling.
So it's time for me to go home. It really is. I
back,
miss
Greg.
it.
Meaning this blockbuster election may very well be the last he witnesses in the US as the shark prepares to head back to home waters. In Naples, Florida, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
Very interesting interview that. I'll tell you what. One thing I don't like about Joe Biden is it just seems so orchestrated and planned. Like even the fact that we're not seeing much of him is orchestrated because they know that Joe says some pretty silly things. You think Trump says some pretty silly things. Joe, I think in his early life he had a bit of a stutter, and I think his mind still gets muddled up, and he was calling Trump George at one stage. Things like that. They're trying to minimise the risk of him saying something silly, and people realising that he's not really a stable president. It's imagine this guy negotiating deals with world leaders like Putin. Putin will run rings around Joe Biden if he becomes president. That's for sure. I think he's going to be very easily manipulated. So that's why hopefully, even though I personally like everyone, personally don't really like Trump's personality sometimes, but I think if I advise people to look at one of his full rallies, just run one of his full rallies, find it online. I'll see if I can find one. I'll put a link in the description if I can. If you look at one full rally of Trump, and because the media they cut it up, they put all those stupid things he says and puts them in like a little package and shows it, but that's Trump. He's who'd be able to go to a rally or whatever 2 hours or whatever it is and listen to politician talk for 2 hours? Name one politician that you'd be willing to listen to talk to for 2 hours without them putting a bit of a few jokes in there, So I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide because his message, once you listen to his rallies, his message is quite logical and good for America. So there we go. So we got less than 24 hours to go. It's going to be very interesting. It's a bit like Christmas, You just want to open those presents and find out the result. But we've got to wait about 24 hours, I'd say, or even more. I think it's about 1 p.m. in Washington at the moment. So probably about 36 hours until maybe there's a result. So looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.